Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to HitScan. We tiered all of the different skin bundles in the game. Now we're going to go over the knives. Luckily, there's not as many. I think there's only 20 melee weapons that I counted. So, nevertheless, let's get into it and let's actually look at some of these skins. Which one do you want to actually start with?
But I want to start with something that I think will be more like a good B tier. So, I'm going to start with... Ooh, probably, yeah, let's start with the, what's this one called? I don't remember the Imperium. Yeah, that's
Imperium,
it, I think.
yeah.
Melee. Let's start with this one, because I know what you mentioned a little bit last time, I believe. Or at some point, at least. What do you reckon about this one?
I think it's really nice. I think that it stands out against some of the other knives, but it isn't too ridiculously crazy like the Oni one is, for example. I think that's a strong B tier. I think that's really good. It's cheap as well because it's not part of a real skin bundle, I guess you could call it. And I think it's much better than the gun, which I think we rated as a C tier skin bundle too, right? So
it's definitely better than the gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if that was C tier, I'm looking at these knives. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is actually a C tier for me, but I think putting it in B tier for now as like a sort of benchmark is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
All right, next knife. Which one do you want to go with?
I think we go with the Kingdom one. I think that is, straightforward C. It's fine. It's gonna be more valuable as time goes on because you'll never be able to get it again, as far as we know at this point.
Yeah, first knife in the game from like Battle Pass. So
yeah, it's like the OG knife.
It's special.
Yeah,
but I do feel like a little bit of its value comes from that because it is, other than that, kinda like it doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's like borderline D tier, but it gets bumped up to C for me just based on like the meaning of it. You know, very connected to the lore with Kingdom, and then also the first ever Battle Pass knife. So it's cool stuff.
I want to go for a controversial one now.
Oh, okay.
I think this could be a C or a D tier knife, and it's the Elder Flame one. And there's a few reasons why I think that. The main one is, it doesn't look great in this picture, which is something that, we've already spoken about, but it also doesn't look that great in game unless you spend Radianite to give it the fiery glow. And I honestly don't really like that. I understand, spending Radianite to add more effects to it, but you've spent a lot of money on this melee weapon, like $35 or whatever, and then it's kind of like, oh, you need to use a bit
50,
more.
I think.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, but it's like a sense of, oh, if you want it to look even better, then you need to typically spend more money, right, via Radianite. So I feel like
let's start it like this, though. Like, let's just say for this video, we care more about the pricing, because some of the knives are crazy expensive, like compared to like some of the gun skins we previously had, right? I don't know. I kind of want to put a B tier though, because I do like the animation so much more than I like the other knife that's in B tier now.
I think that's fair.
In terms of money, yeah,
I think it should definitely go below that the Imperium one, just because of the price difference of what you get for them.
Really? I don't know. I think they're pretty even if I think about value and coolness. Like the Imperium knife is cheap and all right, but the Elder Flame knife is more expensive, cool, but needs a bit more. So like to be like, let's say the Elder Flame knife was actually cheaper and it had cool effects straight from the get-go. Then I think it would be an A tier, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think this is pretty fair. Yeah, if you keep value in mind. All right, next one. Let's do an interesting one. Is this one called Spline? Yes, that's it, right?
I think I'd say B tier. I think it's better than Kingdom, but I don't know if it's B tier. I don't think it's that good.
Like, I don't think it doesn't have variants, right? The other skins do, but not the knife, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm willing to put it C tier with that in mind.
Yeah,
because I think it looks boring, to be honest.
The Smite knife? I think that's, again, I'm kind of wanted to clear up some of the more straightforward ones to leave, like, the Prime Axe, the Sovereign Sword, the gun probe, I guess you could call it. There's so many like interesting ones that I'm curious to sort of leave until later because they're so vastly different. I think Smite is pretty straightforward. I think it is a C tier one. I think it's the worst that we've tiered so far in regards to the list that Smite is on, because again, it's just similar to the guns.
What do you mean? It's worse than any of the other knives here?
The ones that we've tiered and rated so far, yeah. Out of the 5 that we've put down, it's the worst of the 5, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's even B, honestly.
Have you seen anybody ever use it? Because I don't think I have.
I don't think I have, actually, now that you mention it, no. Maybe it just looks good in this picture as well. It does look a bit more like there's like a decal or a sticker on the knife in game, rather than it being a cool effect. So, yeah, C tier I guess is pretty fair. What next? I want to get Prism. What do you think about Prism?
I think it could be potentially A tier.
Oh, really?
I think it's
Okay.
I think it's just clean. I think that the color scheme and stuff is good. It's better than the guns. It's probably how I'd rate it.
I think it's really boring.
Really?
I really don't like it. No, I don't, because it's exactly like the default knife, other than the Prism metal, which, great. I get that the Prism metal material thing, that's kind of cool, but it has no animation. You know, it looks kind of flat and boring to me, too much like the default knife, in a way that I don't really like. I think the reason as to why I'm kind of more okay with it on the Smite knife, honestly, is because of the handle. The handle is like, it's not like one, like just reskin of the blade. The whole thing is kind of changed. So
you'd rate it like D tier?
Yeah, honestly, I would rate it like D tier to me. I'm just gonna, come at me, Prism fanboys. I know there's a lot of you out there. Look, I actually like the Prism skins, the gun skins. The knife, not so much. So yeah, I would say D tier, honestly. That's my
I would agree
rating.
to that if you put Smite down with it. That is the negotiation.
Okay, wait. Then we also put Spline down with it.
Yeah. I think that's
okay,
fair.
We got a deal. Yeah, I think this is way more accurate, honestly, if I think about it too.
Yeah, I feel like this is even more controversial than the skin bundles already. I feel like
I can hear the keyboards just like people typing away in the comments.
I'm genuinely curious what knives people use more than often. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what knives you use. I use the Sovereign, and I think that's an S-tier skin. I think that's.
Oh, you do?
I think that is the best skin.
Without the effect though, because that's what we did for Elder Flame. You have to think about it without the effect and what it costs and all that.
I still think it's pretty strong.
I think it's maybe A tier, or I think it's A tier with the. If I think about, because it's cheaper than Elder Flame as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty sure. I would call it A tier with this in mind.
So I think, you have the karambit in there, for example, which I think people would rate really highly because it's nice for Ruin, but it is a well-known skin in Counter-Strike, right? It's just very
I'm not
popular.
going to lie, I do think that is probably the best knife in the game right now.
I'd agree.
You can get it for $10, and it looks like, well, the way it looks, it's really sick. And the alternative attack animation thing. Don't forget that.
I think it's just more like with some of these skins in the game, they're very much modeled off of games and other stuff. Gun is so unique in its approach, I suppose. It's pretty funny. It's characteristic. Yeah, a little bit, but it's still, I guess, creative in the sense of I like that they took that direction, and that's something that easily could have been missed by the creative team, but they ran with it, and I think it makes the whole skin bundle much better with that melee in it. So I would rate that an S tier melee.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually. Especially if we're putting Sovereign Sword into A tier, then I think this makes sense. But I would also like to just put this S tier right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That in mind.
I think that's very fair.
Oh, the Oni Claw. That's an interesting one.
Oh yeah, Christ.
What do you think about that one?
I love the idea, but I hate it at the same time. I just find it really difficult to look at, I suppose. It's just a bit odd. Like, again, it's just aesthetic, but it's similar to, I really don't like the Ion melee as well. I think it's just a bit too ridiculous. And especially with how nice the Oni skins look, we rated it one of the highest out of all of the bundles, right? Mm-hmm. I do think that the melee lets it down a little bit. I'm glad that they went in that direction as opposed to a straightforward knife, but I think it's a little bit too over the top.
I just don't like it, really. I think it's C tier, though, because it is still a bit special, better than some of the things in D tier. Mm-hmm. But I would say C tier for me. I mean, I guess speaking of which, should we do the Ion one?
I guess so. I don't think I could rate it higher than Oni Mask.
Oh god, the VFX though. I think the VFX thing that you said with the Elder Flame, I think that actually makes this list way harder to do.
Yeah.
Because this is what, if I think about the VFX included, right? And I think about the value of the knife still, and the VFX included, then I would be willing to do this.
Yeah, I think we're making it harder for ourselves by... I think it's... Let's just assume, bearing in mind that, you know, some of these skins are very expensive and you have to pay more with Radianite to make them the best that they could be. I still think we should be rating them, now that I think about it, on the best that they look.
Yeah, I think it's B tier still. I think this list is really accurate for me right now.
Yeah.
Where I value like the different ones.
Let's go for the most straightforward then, because we have Ego still in here. I think that's a strong B tier skin. You know, it's obviously stronger than Kingdom. Yeah.
It's got like options there. Yeah. Like sure you have to pay for the options, but it does have the options.
I think it's top of B tier.
Yeah, it does look... Yeah, I'm not really doing the top but bottom bits here because that's a little bit difficult, I think, with the knives, like just visually. But this feels right to me. Agreed. Do you want to do the Hive Mind Sword then? Because that one is well, yeah.
I really don't like it. It's the same as the skins, though. I just don't really vibe with the aesthetic more than the weapon itself. I find it just a bit too garish, but this is coming from somebody that uses the Sovereign Sword, so I like the swords in game. I think they're the best, but I do think that it's the weakest of the Battle Pass skins, and also just the weakest of the skins so far, I think. But
if I think about Sovereign Sword, right, then it's like it should look like that if I think about the universe and the place that it's from, kind of. But if I think about the Hive Mind Sword, I'm holding it and I don't see the purple stuff on it. So it just feels like, you know, a budget sword. That's true. Kind of. So I think the fact that you cover the purple stuff with your hand and it just is definitely worse than the Sovereign Sword, and it doesn't have VFX options like the Sovereign Sword. Even though it is a Battle Pass knife and it is valued like that, I would put it into C tier, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's the main thing in the Battle Pass too. Like, I bought out the first Battle Pass. I didn't do it for the second one. I just went, there's not really anything here that I want. And towards the end of a Battle Pass, that's kind of like almost like a disappointing thing. Very different for this act, with the Ruin stuff, for example. Yeah. But for Act 2, I think that it was a struggle. BlastX, I think this weapon is great for the idea. Even the fact that you like pop out the knife with a little push thing, like a toy knife.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because you look at the other knives that we have left and it's like, do I rate it better than Singularity? No. Do I rate it better than Reaver? Possibly not. Do I rate it better than Glitch Pop? Definitely not. It's a really tough one, but I think that it's possibly an A tier skin.
I mean, honestly, I think the way that you pop the knife out like that and the variants... Now it's S tier for me, honestly.
It's S tier, okay.
Yeah, because of the concept to me. Like I think about, you know, the different knife types, right? Like the claw, the dagger, the normal knife, the sword. And then we've got this thing, which it is in the normal knife category, but the way that you equip it, that it still has a custom animation and it has variants that I think the variants are really sick. Honestly, I think the variants are really cool. That to me is like, yeah, that's a pretty big part of it. I think it's
I will allow
I think it's S tier. Yeah,
they very easily could have done a very straightforward dual weapon, but the fact that they made something so great out of honestly something so little, I guess.
Yeah,
you know, we were expecting this. We were expecting this skin bundle for a long time. And the whole bundle for BlastX has blown my mind, considering we knew roughly what we were getting. The fact that they went above and beyond those data mined images way back when, yeah, I think for that is super strong. I think one that's similarly smart and has a cute interaction, it's a crazy interaction, is the one from the Winter Wonderland. The issue again is it's very
Candy cane, yeah, it's
very time sensitive. I like the fact that if you whack somebody with it, it breaks off into a sharp point.
Yeah,
but again, it's if you use this in the middle of July, you're gonna look like a psychopath. And I think that again, it's if you get it in your store, are you going to be excited to have it? Are you going to
This
be
is like
excited to have it in the
Valorant
night
fashion.
market? Yeah, it's just
You can't
very
be wearing
outdated.
this in July.
I think because of that, it's a C tier skin.
C tier. I think it's B tier because of the like effect and variant stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot it has variants.
Yeah, it does have a lot of variants as well. It's a lot of like crazy variants in the way that they're extremely colorful. Yeah, I would put it B tier based on the fact that because it feels like it's got that special thing about like breaking off, and it's got the variants, which puts it on par with Ego for me, and Ego's in B tier. That's the way I'm thinking about it.
Okay, I'll agree to that. One skin that I don't think is as good as the skin bundle overall, and we rated this possibly the best skin bundle of 2020. I don't think the Reaver Knife is that good.
No, I don't think so. Not anymore. Like, not after seeing Ruin and Elder Flame. The knife was really cool when we played like beta or whatever it was. That was amazing. But yeah.
I would say it's B/C tier. But it's kind of like, again, it's the opposite of the BlastX set, where it's, I don't know what else they could have realistically done, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think with what you said there, like, I think B tier is pretty fair. Because it's kind of like with the Kingdom Knife a little bit, where it gets bumped up a bit for like the sort of meaning. Like, it's the first cool knife that was featured. Reaver set overall has a lot of hype. It does look good. It has a cool animation. Daggers are really nice. I mean, we don't have another dagger anywhere down there. Yeah, exactly. The other daggers are the two top ones. So I think B tier is pretty fair.
We have 4 left. Let's get Nebula out of the way, because I feel that the 3 that we have after that are very interesting to discuss. Again, it's straightforward, but it's a beautiful design. I think that it's a low C or a top D. I really like it, but...
Low C or top D? Whoa! I was expecting you to say B tier at least with that.
I think we've got so many B tiers, but like I think about all of the other ones, like even the one that we mentioned, Reaver, the sound effects, the VFX that it has on it. I feel like
putting it on par with the Hive Mind Sword.
Like, that's what I mean. I think it's better than all of the ones in D, but I don't think it's as good as the ones in B. So it's awkward. It's almost like it needs a tier in between just for the Nebula knife.
Okay. I mean, honestly, yeah, if I think about Nebula, the concept's really cool, but it looks way better on the guns. So I would say C. Because I think about like Ego and stuff, and I kind of want to throw it near there, but if you're saying D tier, I think C is kind of a nice compromise.
Your melee weapon, the Prime set.
Yeah, I do think Prime, I mean, it's kind of a special one, right? As well.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that like Kingdom and Reaver are. I'm looking at A tier and I don't think it fits there. I would say B tier.
We got so many in B tier though. I think it's
yeah,
A.
But
I think it's nostalgic in the sense of it reminds me of the hype where everybody just bought it and everybody had it because it was literally nothing else that people could use.
All right. I mean, I guess I'm looking at like the candy cane and stuff. I feel a bit bad for Reaver Knife though.
The issue is just that...
No, but like I genuinely feel like the sword is way like this. That I think the 2 other knives in A are way cooler. Like that's my problem with it. I think both of them are way better. So maybe we can bump down some things from B tier to C tier and put it in B tier. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's good.
But what gets bumped down? If
I think the candy cane gets bumped down. I don't think you can bump down Reaver any lower.
Okay. No, I don't think you can bump down Reaver any lower either. The candy cane is a bit like, I mean, pun not intended, but blunt in the way that like it's just a bit. Yeah.
You could probably move down the Imperium one as well, to be honest. I think that...
Yeah, all right.
It stands out.
Your initial hype has settled a little bit on that one.
That's the thing about skins, though. It's like, you picked up the Primax, and I remember on that time being like, oh, I want to pick it up too, but everybody has it, and I know that I just want to like wait to see what else comes out. And then Sovereign comes out the next week, and I snap that up instead. And I haven't got bored of that weapon at all, so I rate it highly. Singularity, I think, is A tier / S tier. I think it's one of the best. I don't know if it's better than Sovereign, but I don't know if it's worse than
my problem with it
BlastX.
is no variants. Pretty
Yeah.
sure, right? Yeah, no variants. And it also doesn't have a really cool specific like equip animation. It looks cool. It has like a nice little sort of base effect on it. But S tier to me is like, it should have a really nice equip or attack animations. Those things are what really matter to me.
Would you say that both that and Glitch Pop are A tier? Because I think they both suffer from the same thing.
Glitch Pop has the varying thing when you equip it though.
Oh yeah, true.
And it also has the sound effects, which I think are pretty like that, and like those two things together make it a lot better. Whilst Singularity only has like a bit of sound effects, I guess. So I would actually put Glitch Pop Knife S tier and yeah, Singularity A tier. Like this is how I feel about it.
Everything looks kind of where I'd want it. The question now becomes, what is the best skin of 2020?
Oh.
I think, considering that they could have put it in a bundle and they could have done a huge amount with it, hyping it up, but the fact that it's just in a $10 battle pass, I think that the Ruin Knife gets it.
I think so too. Congratulations, whoever made that at Riot. Good job.
Applause, yeah.
You did a good thing. Very cool.
I feel like it's just, like that. I think the most creative and just the most impressive has been the good one. I think that's second place easily. That's everything for this time. Thank you very much for watching. We're excited to do this again in the future with other episodes and other years as well, like 2021, having episode 2 and episode 3. Skin sets going head to head would be a pretty interesting one. Maybe set up like a seeding thing, like it's some sort of single elimination tournament between the skins that we have to like who wins. But that's going to do it for now. We'll see you in the future. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.